Asia Calouri,
Carly Weiss,
Liz Musinsky.
special guest Alexa Kimmel as Coletta Husseini. And your hosts of Saturday Night Live, please welcome Paris, Levy, and Morgan Eddy.
Hello everyone and welcome to tonight's special edition of Saturday Night Live.
I'm Paris.
And I'm Morgan, and tonight we will be your hosts.
Tonight's edition features Coletta Husseini's 1,000 Splendid Suns.
Hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight.
Carly Weiss and Asia Calouri.
Hey guys, welcome to the Weekend Update. I'm Carly.
And I'm Asia.
And we're here with your segment, Winners and Losers of 1,000 Splendid Suns. Now, who is our first winner of 1,000 Splendid Suns? Drum roll, please. It is Layla. Layla is considered to be a winner because she grew up with very nice parents who loved and cared for her. They also gave her an education. She went to school, which many girls around her age did not have the opportunity to do. She ended up having a little boy crush when she was young, and he turned out to be the father of her first child, and he came back at the end of the book, and they ended up living the rest of their lives together, escaped the horrors of Afghani war, and they grew up and lived happily ever after.
Our first loser is Nana. Nana's a loser because she has an affair with Jaleel, and after her affair, he acts like she doesn't exist, kind of, and then he figures out she's pregnant, so he sends her off to a hut in very bad conditions. She then treats her daughter terribly to kind of take out her anger and ends up killing herself, so Nana's a loser.
Now, our second winner in 1,000 Splendid Suns is Tariq. When he was just 5 years old, he lost one of his legs, and he overcame that disability. He even used his prosthetic leg to beat up a kid who was bullying Layla. Now, even though he had to move away with his family and he lost his parents during the war, he came back and he lived a happily ever after with Layla and his children.
The next loser in the story is Jaleel. Jaleel is a loser because he leaves Miriam as a child and does not treat her like a father should treat a child. He ends up selling his daughter into marriage after his wives convince him to, and years later, when he tries to go back to get forgiveness from her, she does not let him in his home and ignores him. At the end of the story, you learn that he left her a letter begging for forgiveness and that he ends up dying not knowing whether Miriam forgave him or not. So there's another loser.
The next winner is Zalmay. Zalmay is Rashid's son, who he definitely favorited more than he did Aziza because he did not want a daughter in the first place. Zalmay didn't have to go to the orphanage, and Aziza did. So Zalmay's definitely the winner in this situation.
The biggest loser in the story is definitely Rashid. Rashid corrupts Miriam's innocence and takes her virginity. He also is a misogynist, meaning he only wants a son, and he's abusive to both of his wives. He at one point stuffs rocks in Miriam's mouth and is just a bad man. He also he owned a shoe store, and his shoe store burnt down in flames. And at the end of the story, he gets killed by Miriam because she refuses to watch him beat Layla anymore. So he's definitely the biggest loser.
Now for our last character, we're in conflict. I think Miriam's a winner.
I think she's a loser.
Now I think Miriam's a winner because after having terrible issues with her mom, Jaleel, Rashid, she finally makes a healthy relationship with Layla. And then after letting her guard down throughout the entire novel, she finally stands up for herself and kills Rashid because she just felt like she couldn't take it anymore. The abuse was just too terrible.
I think that Miriam's a loser because she grew up in terrible conditions. She was not really loved very much in her life, and she ended up dying in the story like the rest of the losing characters. So that's it for your winners and losers of 1,000 Splendid Suns.
Now on to Liz with a very special guest.
Hi, today we have Coletta Husseini here, author of 1,000 Splendid Suns. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, what inspired you to write this book and reveal some of Afghanistan's women's traumatic domestic lives?
A lot of personal experience, actually. I was intrigued by the hopes of the woman in Afghani culture, and especially all of them having to go through so much sacrifice and coming up on top and surviving.
And what message were you trying to convey from this book?
I hope my readers are transformed by the experiences that my characters endured. I want readers to develop a sense of empathy for Afghans and really try to develop it fully into the culture.
Anne, the novel contains very strong female characters. How did you create them? Were they based on anyone you know?
I actually didn't know anyone personally. I just based them off of anybody from my life who, when I previously lived in Afghanistan, I was involved with.
In what ways was writing A Thousand Splendid Suns different than writing The Kite Runner?
It was more ambitious, actually. There's a larger cast of characters. I felt like I had more of a sense of self. A dual perspective in dealing with the wars and political turmoil was more presented in A Thousand Splendid Suns, is where The Kite Runner was just more of my own personal life.
Very good. Well,
Wait,
thanks, Coletta Husseini, for being on the show.
Thanks for having me once again.